The kingdom of Vodel was a place of legend, nestled deep in the heart of an ancient forest. Surrounded by towering trees whose branches wove together like a protective net, the kingdom was hidden from the prying eyes of the world, a sanctuary for those who sought peace and magic. Its people lived in harmony with the forest, for they knew that within the land, magic was as real as the air they breathed. At the heart of this kingdom stood a majestic palace, its golden spires reaching towards the sky, crowned by an enchanted garden. The garden was said to be unlike any other, filled with flowers that bloomed year-round, their petals sparkling with a magical light. But what truly set this garden apart was its centerpiece, a magnificent peacock that glided through the garden, its iridescent feathers glistening in the sun. The peacock was not just an ordinary creature, though. It was a symbol of the royal family, believed to be a guardian spirit, entrusted with the protection of the kingdom. The ruler of Vodel was a kind and wise king, King Aldrich, and his daughter, Princess Lysandra, was beloved by all. Lysandra was known for her beauty, but it was her compassion and bravery that truly made her stand out. She was a princess in every sense of the word, with a heart as pure as gold, and yet there was something deeply mysterious about her, something that even she did not fully understand. On the eve of her 16th birthday, a night that promised to be full of celebration, a strange event occurred. The sky, which had been clear and full of twinkling stars, suddenly grew dark, and a cold wind swept through the kingdom. The people gathered in the town square, uneasy whispers filling the air. In the royal palace, Lysandra stood in her chambers, staring out of the window at the storm clouds that seemed to gather unnaturally fast. The peacock, which usually roamed freely in the garden, had vanished, as though it had been pulled into the very heart of the storm. It was then that an old, hooded figure appeared at the door, the kingdom's oracle, a woman known only as Althea. With eyes that gleamed with ancient wisdom, Althea had always been a mysterious presence in the kingdom, but tonight, her arrival brought with it a sense of urgency. "Your Highness," Althea spoke in a voice that was both calm and foreboding, "the time has come. The prophecy you were born to fulfill has begun." Lysandra turned to face her, confusion clouding her expression. "What prophecy?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. Althea stepped forward, her voice growing softer, as though she were sharing a great secret. "Long ago, a great curse was placed upon this kingdom, one that would remain dormant for generations. It is said that only the descendant of the royal bloodline, born under the light of a blue moon, would have the power to break it. That descendant is you, Princess Lysandra." The words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. Lysandra's mind raced. She had always known there was something unusual about her, something different, but she had never imagined it was something so extraordinary. The prophecy had been a part of the kingdom's folklore, passed down through the ages. But hearing it spoken aloud, hearing it directed at her, was something entirely different. "The peacock," Lysandra whispered, her heart racing. "It's gone. Is it part of the prophecy?" Althea nodded gravely. "The peacock is more than just a symbol of the royal family. It is a guardian spirit, linked to the kingdom's magic. Its disappearance marks the beginning of a great darkness that will soon engulf this land. Only you, Princess, can bring it back." With those words, the storm outside intensified, and Lysandra felt an undeniable pull deep within her heart. She knew, in that moment, that she could no longer remain in the safety of the palace. The time had come for her to step into the unknown and face the darkness that threatened her world. "Where do I begin?" she asked, determination settling in her chest. Althea gave her a long, assessing look before answering. "You must seek the heart of the forest, the source of all the magic that sustains this land. But be warned, Princess, the path will not be easy. Many dangers lie ahead, and not all creatures are as they seem." Lysandra's eyes hardened. "I'm ready." And so, with the weight of the kingdom's fate resting on her shoulders, the enchanted peacock princess set out on a journey that would change her life and the world forever. The forest was an awe-inspiring place, both beautiful and foreboding, its towering trees seeming to reach out with long, twisting branches like fingers. The air was thick with the scent of moss and ivy, and the sound of distant rustling leaves was the only thing that broke the silence. Lysandra stood at the edge of the forest, her heart pounding in her chest. The path ahead was dark, shrouded in mystery, but she knew she had no choice but to press forward. Althea's words echoed in her mind. Many dangers lie ahead, and not all creatures are as they seem. The thought sent a chill down her spine. As she ventured deeper into the forest, the atmosphere seemed to change. The trees grew thicker, their trunks twisted in odd shapes, and the air grew heavier, thick with magic. Lysandra could feel the power of the forest all around her, pulsing in the ground beneath her feet. The magic was alive here, ancient and wild, and it seemed to hum in response to her presence. Hours passed as Lysandra walked, and the path became more treacherous. Strange creatures appeared along the way, glowing-eyed wolves that watched from the shadows, whispering trees that groaned and creaked as if they were alive. But Lysandra pressed on, her determination unwavering. Just as she was beginning to lose hope of ever finding the heart of the forest, she came upon a clearing bathed in a soft, ethereal light. In the center of the clearing stood a massive stone archway, covered in intricate runes that glowed faintly in the dark. Lysandra stepped forward, drawn to the archway as if by some invisible force. As she passed beneath the stone arch, the air seemed to shimmer, and she suddenly felt as though she were no longer in the same world. The trees around her grew taller, their leaves sparkling with a strange, otherworldly glow. In the center of the clearing stood a pedestal, and atop it rested a glowing crystal, the heart of the forest. It pulsed with an energy so powerful that Lysandra could feel it vibrating in her very bones. But as she stepped forward to take it, a voice echoed through the clearing, sending a wave of dread through her. "You should not be here, princess." Lysandra froze, her heart racing. The voice had come from nowhere and everywhere at once, deep and resonant, filled with ancient power. She looked around, but saw no one. "Who's there?" she demanded, trying to steady her voice. A shadow shifted near the edge of the clearing, and a figure emerged from the darkness. A massive creature, its body cloaked in mist, its eyes glowing like embers. It was a guardian of the forest, ancient and powerful, bound to protect the heart of the forest from those unworthy of its power. "I am the guardian," the creature rumbled, its voice like thunder. "You are not the one who is destined to take the heart." Lysandra stepped forward, her courage rising. "I am the Princess of Vodel, and I have come to restore balance to my kingdom. The prophecy has chosen me." The guardian's eyes narrowed, and it snarled. "The prophecy is but a shadow of a greater truth. Many have come before you, believing they were chosen. None succeeded." Lysandra clenched her fists. "Then I will be the one who does." The guardian tilted its head, as if intrigued by her resolve. "Very well, princess. You may prove yourself worthy, but only if you can pass the test of the heart." The ground beneath Lysandra's feet trembled as the guardian raised a massive claw. "Prepare yourself, princess. The test begins now." The air around Lysandra grew thick, like the weight of the world itself was pressing down on her. The guardian's eyes burned with an otherworldly fire, and its massive form shifted, readying itself to challenge her. Lysandra stood her ground, heart pounding, the crystal, the heart of the forest, glowing in the distance. She could feel its power drawing her closer, but something else was pulling at her, a force she had never encountered before. The guardian's voice broke the silence, deep and commanding. "The heart of the forest does not yield easily. You must face the truth of your own soul. Only by confronting your deepest fears can you prove yourself worthy." Lysandra took a deep breath. "I'm ready." The ground began to tremble beneath her, and before she could react, a swirling mist rose up around her. It was like being swallowed by the forest itself, the trees closing in on all sides, the air thick with the scent of ancient earth. The mist was cold and damp, and it carried with it whispers, distant voices that echoed in the dark. Suddenly, Lysandra found herself standing alone in a vast, unfamiliar landscape. The mist parted just enough to reveal an eerie forest, its trees twisted and blackened, the sky overhead a sickly green. Shadows danced between the gnarled branches, and the distant sound of howling wolves echoed through the night. Lysandra took a hesitant step forward. She didn't know where she was, but she could feel an undeniable presence watching her every move. The whispers in the mist grew louder, taking on a shape, a voice she recognized. "Lysandra." The voice was soft, familiar, her mother's voice. Her heart skipped a beat. No, it can't be. Before she could stop herself, she called out, "Mother!" A figure appeared before her, draped in shadow, but it was unmistakably her mother. Lysandra's breath caught in her throat. "Mother, you're here." Her mother smiled softly, but the expression seemed strained, as if it was something forced. "Lysandra, my dear, I'm so proud of you. But you don't need to continue this journey. You don't have to save the kingdom. Let it be. There is a simpler life for you, a life without the burden of prophecy." Lysandra's heart pounded in her chest. "But I can't let Verdel fall. I have to stop the curse." Her mother's voice turned sharp, cold. "You can't. The curse is in you, Lysandra. You've always known it." The world around her seemed to shift, and the dark, twisted trees began to bend toward her, their branches clawing at her. Shadows whispered in her ears, telling her of her flaws, her fears, her doubts. For a moment, the mist seemed to choke her, the forest closing in. She felt herself growing weaker, like the very essence of the world was pulling her apart. Her mother's face changed. Her expression twisted, morphing into something monstrous, her eyes glowing with a hollow, empty light. "You were never meant to be a hero. You were never meant to save anyone." The weight of the words felt like a physical blow. Lysandra staggered, her knees nearly buckling under the pressure. Her mother's cruel laughter echoed in her ears. She wanted to cry out, to scream, but the words caught in her throat. It was then that Lysandra understood. This was the test. The guardian hadn't lied. The heart of the forest would not give its power to just anyone. It demanded that she confront the truth of herself. Her doubts, her fears of inadequacy, of failure, had always plagued her. They had whispered to her in quiet moments, and now they were taking form, taunting her. She had to face them. The shadows closed in on her, the air suffocating. She fell to her knees, gasping for air. But then, something shifted inside her. She remembered her father's words, the love she had for her kingdom, the people who relied on her. She couldn't let this fear define her. She had come too far to turn back. With a deep breath, Lysandra rose to her feet, summoning all the strength she had. The shadows receded as her resolve solidified, the mist clearing. The twisted trees around her seemed to bend away, and the sickly green sky faded into a soft, golden light. Her mother's monstrous face flickered, replaced by the gentle, loving smile she had known so well. "You are stronger than you think, my daughter," the voice said, soft and comforting. "You are more than just a princess. You are the protector of this land." The forest around her shimmered, the dark and twisted trees transforming into vibrant, glowing figures of life. The weight that had held her down lifted, and Lysandra felt herself standing tall, her heart free of the burden of doubt. She had passed the test. The mist that had once clouded the air was now gone, replaced by a vibrant forest that seemed to sing with life. The trees stood tall, their branches adorned with blossoms that gleamed like diamonds in the sunlight. The heart of the forest, now glowing brighter than ever, rested before Lysandra, pulsing with an energy she could feel deep within her soul. But her journey was not over yet. The guardian stood before her once more, its eyes filled with respect and awe. "You have proven yourself worthy, princess. The heart of the forest is yours. But know this, the curse you seek to lift is not one of simple darkness. It is woven into the very fabric of your kingdom, and you alone can unravel it." Lysandra nodded solemnly, her resolve unwavering. She could feel the weight of the responsibility that lay ahead, but she also knew she was ready. The heart of the forest pulsed in her hand, and with it, she felt a surge of magic, an ancient, untamed power that had been locked away for centuries. She turned back to the path, the glowing crystal in her grasp. The journey ahead would be long, and the danger she would face unimaginable. But she was no longer the uncertain princess who had stepped into the forest. She was the enchanted Peacock princess, destined to break the curse and restore balance to her kingdom. As she made her way back through the forest, the ground seemed to hum with life beneath her feet. And then, in the distance, she saw it, a flash of iridescent feathers, shimmering in the sunlight. The peacock had returned. It glided toward her, its wings spreading wide, its eyes filled with an ancient wisdom. As it landed before her, it bowed its head in reverence. The bond between the princess and the guardian was complete. Together, they would face whatever came next, for Lysandra was no longer just a princess. She was the protector of Vodel, the one who would restore its magic, heal its wounds, and protect it from the curse that had long haunted it. With the peacock at her side, Lysandra set forth on her final journey, the promise of a brighter future glowing on the horizon.